Today on
Doomed!
Is Donald Trump about to announce a 2024 run for office? We are live, and for podcast listeners, recording live Tuesday night, November 15th, 2022, on what supposedly is going to be Donald Trump's big reveal that he's running for president again. Regardless of what happens, we have a lot to talk about election-wise because the midterm election results are still coming in, and this is actually my first episode of Doomed since the midterm elections because I did a 6 hours of streaming on 2 other streams last Tuesday night instead of doing my own stream. And it was tons of fun. And one of the people who joined me on one of those streams, let me pull us up now on the feed for all of you, is David Doel of the Rational National. David, thank you for joining me tonight.
Hey, good to be here.
It is my pleasure to talk with you because I honestly, I sort of scheduled this this show thinking, okay, this will be like a midterm election look back. I totally forgot that Trump had planned to announce that he was running. And I mean, has he come out yet?
I think it's people in my chat are saying that he's live now and that the paperwork has been filed. So that's leaked. So it's apparently real.
Do you want to?
I'll keep an eye on Twitter just to. But
do you want to listen in? I can pull him up on the feed
paperwork.
here.
I see it right now.
I can pull him up on the feed here. Let me pull it up. Let's see.
I'm looking at Kyle Kalinske tweeted out a screenshot of there's Trump talking. Look at that.
Let me pull up his let's see. I can't hear him though. Let's see.
No.
Oh, I know why we can't hear him, because I forgot to turn the volume up. That would help.
And just a terrible person who would immediately go into war. They said during the 2016 campaign that if he becomes president, there will never be a war within weeks. And we will have wars like you've never seen before. It will happen immediately. And yet, I've gone decades without a war. The first president to do it for that long a period.
The first president.
The world was at peace, America was prospering, and our country was on track for an amazing future because I made big promises to the American people, and unlike other presidents, I kept my promises. I kept them.
Oh, healthcare. Everyone will have healthcare, like that promise. This guy's amazing. He's going for a drink of water.
This is taking a while, so let's talk about this.
This is why. So after you asked me, I also realized Trump was going to announce, but then I thought, like, I probably would have streamed it, but at the same time, I would likely have walked away from the chair and just let it go because he takes forever to actually make an announcement.
It takes so long for this guy to ever just spit out what he wants to say. But it is. I'll say this. This is best case scenario, I think. Republicans, at least Republicans who I guess are thinking more strategically, they think it's bad that he's going to run. They also think he's going to lose, which I don't know where they have been for the past, 5 years or so.
Well, he's going to win he'll win the primary, but I think they're correct to worry that he's going to lose the presidential election. I don't think he could beat Biden. Like he already lost. I don't think he's going to win again. You see, like, especially now after the midterms, you see the youth turnout. It's going to be even bigger. Based on age alone, because people like younger now will be able to vote. But that plus the fact that it's Trump. Like, no, there's going to be a massive turnout against him if he makes that again. This is so bizarre that like, what world are we living in where this is happening? Like, it's so weird to see him announcing again. I mean, even though it's obvious, it's also just incredibly bizarre. But I don't think he would have a shot against any Democrat, to be honest with you.
Well,
I don't
right,
know,
but he's
maybe
going.
like Kamala Harris. I don't know.
Yeah, he's gonna completely. He's gonna completely run rampant on the GOP primary candidates, though. Like, he is going to absolutely destroy anyone in the Republican Party who dares to run against him. And the fact is, they really do think he's going to lose. Like, they think because, like, Matt Walsh and some other people who had to be convinced that Trump was the guy in 2016 anyway are going, yeah, I think Ron DeSantis is the guy for 2020. They think because those people are saying that like the base feels that way too. Where have they been? This part, they like the Republican base are now people who are just like obsessed with Donald Trump.
Yeah. I will say there was about a week where I thought it could be DeSantis because there was a lot of polling coming out. And actually, there's even polling coming out now showing that DeSantis has, a lead over Trump in many states and in certain polling. But I think that all goes away once the election actually, or once the primary actually starts and there's like debates. In fact, I think it's a good shot that DeSantis doesn't even run now. I mean, if Trump's in the field, I think he buys his time. He figures, hey, I'm still young. I don't need to, potentially lose against Trump and destroy my entire career now. I can wait this out and just, try and run next time. If there is a next time, we're talking about an authoritarian here running for president, a fascist. This guy is not going to want to give up power. He'll try to keep it any way he can. But I think DeSantis thinks if there is a next time, and I bet he thinks that there will be a next time, that he'd rather just wait and not ruin his career going up against Trump and getting destroyed.
I mean, you think that would be obvious, but I don't think they're gonna. I really do think that they think Trump is over. I think
they think that, yeah.
They've deluded them. Like, the smart thing would absolutely
at least
be,
for now. They're projecting that, but do they really? This happens every time, right? Like, happened after 2020. Oh, it's the end of Trump. That's it. Then it's like, no, he's still the dear leader of the party. So all this media crap could just go away in a couple of weeks, and they're all just going to fall back in line now. That's I don't know. That's how I see things going, because that's where their supporters are. As long as their supporters are still backing Trump, why would they try and push DeSantis and potentially lose their viewership and the cash that they have coming in? Since ultimately that's what drives them, is just that. There's no principles. There's nothing there. It's just like, who can I serve to continue this this cash cow, and that's what they're doing at this point.
right. Yeah, I mean, we will, I guess, just have to see what happens here. I think that it's incredible that I can't wait for him to just destroy Ron DeSantis. It's going to be so sad to watch, because the country, the rest of the Republican Party is viewing, they live in an absolute bubble. You could tell by just everything they do. But I mean, nothing is more obvious than this past midterm election, last Tuesday, when they ran on like culture war issues as their forward messaging, like anti-LGBTQ. Just they really ran rampant with that, especially gender identity, and they got clobbered. I mean, they live in their little
anti-trans,
bubbles.
Anti-abortion, like that was their platform,
right? And they thought that was going to be the winner, right?
Yeah, and then, like, I don't know, it made me. It gave me a little hope, because for a long time, I mean, really since the pandemic and before then, it felt like everything was moving in the wrong direction. People were too dumb or not paying attention to realize what was going on. They didn't see the threat to democracy. They didn't care about, cultural issues at all. And they were, I don't know, I guess worried about gas prices, as if, the GOP would do anything about inflation, or get these empty, even if you want to try and claim that voters were concerned about, kitchen table issues, about, about gas prices or whatever the hell. What name one policy that the right was offering that would have changed any of that. Like there was nothing, they didn't offer anything there, and they haven't for decades. So why would that change now? So, but it was good to see that no, people, at least enough people, not all people, but enough people are paying attention and realizing that no, we can't let these lunatics come in with all this, focus on anti-trans trash, all this hatred of people that are the most marginalized in society, the being anti-abortion when the vast majority of people support abortion rights. So it was really like that gave me some serious hope to see all these election deniers lose as well. Carrie Lake just lost. Wonderful. So I think it bought us some time. It bought the entire world some time, at least for the next 2 years. We'll see what happens then, but to know that most people, at least most voters, saw the threat and voted against it, that gave me some hope.
Yeah. It was definitely a good night on Tuesday. I mean, sure, it looks like the Republicans are probably going to win the House, but I mean, that was like the scenario that almost was surely going to happen. Like the idea that Dems could even hold it was amazing to begin with. Like that was even a thing that was possible at the end of Tuesday night. And the fact that the Senate is a done deal. Democrats hold the Senate. Worst case, I mean, it seems like nothing gets done for 2 years. And then Trump versus Biden part 2, and that should bring in an election. It's a presidential year election, so that should be good for the Dems if Trump is the top of the ticket for Republicans, which he almost certainly will be.
Yeah, it was funny too. So while we were streaming the election coverage, I don't think I really realized how good of a night it was going to be until you came on the stream and you were like jolly and happy and laughing, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is like, I guess this is a good result. I mean, it was still early coming in, but you seemed really confident, and you were right about, sure, Democrats, they lost the House, but like what, 2 seats, but ultimately they gained a seat in the Senate. They may pick up, or they may keep Georgia, which will keep them, or which will give them an extra seat. But the fact that this is so. I saw some information out there, some history about past midterms and how all these other presidents, minus Bush, I think Bush picked up like 8 seats in the midterms, but everybody else lost like 20 seats, 40 seats, going back to Carter till now, like Reagan, everybody, Clinton, Obama, they all lost a ton of seats. So like based in like looking at this historically, looking at this from the polling perspective, it was a real surprise and a great night for Democrats just based on that alone. Because I know there was people like Tim Pool were out there trying to claim, what's wrong? We won all these seats. What's the problem? But it's like, no, you were expected to dominate. There was no red wave. You barely just now took the House. And yeah, all these predictions did not, come true. So based on just that, it was a really good night.
All right. First of all, I want to thank you for giving me the credit of being the bringer of good news last week.
Maybe it was because you're on that right wing podcast that you're so happy to like leave that shit to come.
Oh no, I also was very happy because I knew how things were going. I was feeling very, very bullish that morning. Even someone. I didn't make my predictions like I did for the presidential election where I was 99.9% correct in calling it. But I did tweet out to someone who asked me, are we doomed? Someone asked me, making an obvious pun to my show. And I straight up said, you know what? I'm feeling pretty good about today. I'm feeling pretty good about it. It just didn't, the things just weren't aligning for me. Like the idea that the polls were so heavily weighted using all these Republican leaning, polling firms. It just was very, very interesting to me. That you usually don't see that avalanche of polls from very biased sources like that, unless they're trying to create some sort of media narrative. It's just things just weren't lining up for me.
But then even this is what I don't understand. In creating that media narrative, how does that benefit them? Because doesn't that ultimately suppress their vote? If people think, hey, we're going to win anyways, why should I bother going? Like, that reminds me of 2016 when Hillary was definitely going to win the election. And I have to imagine, I mean, I don't think that's the reason she lost, but I'm sure it played a little piece, like people thinking, hey, why should I bother voting? She's going to win. Trump can't win. I mean, what world would we live in if Trump became president? So people just couldn't imagine him winning, right? So the idea of putting all these polls out there in the favor of Republicans, I just don't see how ultimately that would benefit them. And I mean, I'm not sure if that played a piece here as well, but I think it would have helped them to treat this like, hey, you have to come out to vote because this is a close election and we're only going to win if you come out to vote. But they didn't do that. And I'm sure some people stayed home that otherwise would have voted.
That's definitely possible. I think for their calculation, it's probably more so that if you convince everyone you guys are going to win, that should depress maybe the other side or rally your base to, I don't know, because you know how they've completely convinced their base that there's some sort of election fraud in every single election, unless they're winning, of course, then everything's fine. So, you know, make sure you get out there to vote because the polls show we're winning. So if we don't win, they committed some sort of fraud behind the scenes.
Yeah,
that's probably their line of thinking.
And actually, what surprised me as well is you didn't see a lot, like minus, Carrie Lake and, those assholes. You didn't see a lot of that. Like, I really thought there would be more claims of fraud over these losses from both the actual candidates and also right-wing media. And there really hasn't been, which is a good sign. It's good to see that they're not going, full fascist just yet. So that, as long as Democrats can keep fighting back this garbage, they're gonna, I think, continue gaining the numbers. As long as the right is as crazy as it is. I mean, the real strategy now, if I were within the GOP, the obvious strategy is to maybe not focus so much on issues that are incredibly unpopular. Like, don't be anti-trans, don't be anti-abortion. Have some baseline understanding of what is popular and what isn't popular, at least culturally. And then, you could still do all the garbage you want to do when you're in power. But in terms of the politics of it, in terms of campaigning, maybe try to appeal to people a little more, which is not what they're doing. But I saw it today. Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh are now saying if you are pro same-sex marriage, you can't be in the party. It's like, all right, I'm all right. If you want to do that, go ahead. Like, it's not gonna help you. But if you want to keep, beating that drum, sure, I guess. But it's a really bizarre strategy to try and keep pushing this line.
Oh, hold on. We got the. Let me pull this video really quick so we could actually.
Do we have the announcement?
Yeah, 1 second. Grabbing it. Want to make sure everyone can hear it. Let me pull up the video. 1 second. Here we go.
In order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
What a clown.
Boy. Oh, boy.
Oh, my God.
Here we go. Let's do this. I am excited. I'm honestly excited. I'm especially excited for Trump to find out what... And I should be clear for anyone who's thinking I'm out of my mind. I'm excited to see Trump completely wreck anyone in the GOP who dares to run against him, wreck their political future, because that's what's going to happen. I mean, think about all the people who ran against Trump in 2015, 2016. Jeb Bush, where the hell is he? Chris Christie. Who else?
But this time, apart from DeSantis, who is there? Like, who does the party actually have that could be destroyed?
Marco Rubio's been a nobody
right?
since he dared to run against Trump. Marco Rubio done. I guess Ted Cruz can get his shellacking, his once every 4. But he'll get, maybe he's a bit of a masochist and wants his once every 4 years shellacking from Trump.
He needs a spanking every 4 years.
Maybe he wants Trump to call his wife ugly again. I don't know.
But yeah, I just don't like. this is I don't know. I think this is great for Democrats because I think Ron DeSantis would do much better
It
against
is.
Biden or a lot of Democrats
It is.
potentially if it
And
was him.
and this isn't like hoping Trump was the guy in 2016 and getting, like some people did and get screwed over because look what happened. But we can also use look what happened in 2020. That's the more analogous comparison.
Yeah.
2020. People have already seen him as president for 4 years. They don't want Trump again. I mean, look at 2020. Look at 2022 just last week. I mean, the American people look at the Republican Party as Trump's party. And they've said for 2 elections straight, even as Biden's approval rating is in the toilet, they said, we want Trump even less. And that's where we are. But the Republican Party isn't that. So what we're going to get is he's going to run rampant on anyone who runs against him. He's going to become the Republican nominee. He's going to run against Biden. And I don't see a scenario where the Dems can always screw things up. That's the truth.
Yeah.
But things as they are now, I don't see a scenario where he wins.
No. Yeah, I'm not sure what would have to happen for that to happen. It's just like I don't know. There'd have to be like a unique situation again where like COVID happened and that hurt Trump. But
Joe Biden coming out and saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, I've decided I'm not going to run for re-election. In my place, Hillary Rodham Clinton." And she comes out and
in that case, yes. then
there's
I
your
could see Trump
scenario.
winning.
There's your scenario. Right. There's a scenario.
I mean, that's probably the only person that could lose to Trump is Hillary Clinton.
I mean, we know that's the case. Right.
Yeah, but what are the next 2 years going to look like? Is this going to be like a new Trump rally every 3 days? Like this is so. And then what happens with the investigations to him? Like, is Merrick Garland going to go through with anything? Like, is this just dead in the water now because it's affecting the election? Like,
yeah, they're not going to go forward with anything. In fact, there was an announcement, an internal memo from Facebook that was going around that got leaked. Being that Trump is now running for president, he can no longer be fact-checked on Facebook because they have a rule on Facebook to not fact-check political candidates because they don't want to be seen as putting their finger on the thumb. I mean, their thumb on the scale. Excuse me, their finger on the scale. Excuse me. So I mean, really dumb policy, but that's what they're gonna do now.
yeah, I just don't understand. At that point, like, yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to see what happens with him because it's so. This whole thing is just. I feel like we're living in a simulation. Like this shit's so bizarre. Just to see this again and like we're going through this again. Like what is happening? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, and this time we got all sorts of different like it's like a remake but with slightly new twists. Like for example, in 2016 when Trump was running, Elon Musk didn't own Twitter and decided to get rid of the verifications and all that stuff, so anyone could be anybody. That'll be fun. A Donald Trump campaign with fake verified Twitter accounts running rampant all over the place.
Is he going to come back to Twitter? I mean, I feel like he's really trying to push Truth Social, and then that's like I do wonder now if Twitter continues, if it exists, now that it's this bizarre thing with Elon Musk, is that going to potentially have some kind of impact on future elections because of all the bullshit that's going to be on there, that's going to be unmoderated? I mean, this is, a side note, but I've seen a lot more spam, a lot more right-wing garbage since Elon Musk took over. Like it hasn't gotten better. He didn't get rid of the spam. It's gotten worse. So I don't know, what's going to fix that.
Yeah, I don't know. Hold on. There's more here. Let me. Do you want to listen to a little bit more of Trump and see what he had to
Sure.
say? Oh boy. All right. Let's do this. I feel like we sort of have to because this is going to be. All right. Let me pull this up. It's not working. All right, I don't know what's going on. It's not working for some reason. Oh well. But he's being a real I'm gonna have to watch these because I need to see them. I'm just reading people's transcripts of it, but I don't know how
Is he still
accurate
going?
they are. He's still going, of course. Of course.
We could watch it live if you want. I mean, I don't know what the hell,
You want to pull it up?
but he's also probably just rambling. I don't know. It's gonna be all Trump for. God, I was so happy not seeing him in the news every day, and now this is just gonna be Trump every day.
It is feeling a little bit like,
like he was
I gotta
president.
say, it is feeling a little bit like deja vu to me. Like I'm getting those same.
Sorry,
same
your voice is cutting out now.
Oh, it is. Oh no, what's going on?
Oh wait, now you're back.
Do you hear me? Hello? No?
Oh, now it's
Hello?
definitely cut out.
Do you hear me now?
Yes,
Okay, I don't know what happened.
but it sounds
there.
like a different mic. I don't
It
know.
sounds like a different mic. Hold on, let me see if the Skype changed for some reason. I don't know why that would happen. Tech issues. Don't you love it?
Yes, actually, well, it's working. I don't know. It could just be a connection issue. I think it's working fine now.
Okay, you hear me?
Yeah, now it's good.
Now it's good?
Yep,
All
there
right,
we go.
cool.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Trump. This is like I was so happy not seeing him in the news every day, and now we're just. I guess we're back to this bullshit. We're just gonna see him. I'm gonna try to not engage with it too much, just because, it's his whole thing is do things for attention, right? So until it's actually affecting something, or like I don't know, polling maybe comes out. Maybe I'll cover polling every now and then, but like every Trump rally, he says something stupid. I'm not gonna like why. Like, is the media gonna, is NBC and MSNBC, CNN, are they gonna get back on that shit too? Just every single day. Trump said this today. Like it's until he's actually in power, it doesn't really matter. Is my opinion.
Everyone is going to be obviously all media is going to be covering him. Everything he does, it's going to be. I don't know. See, that's the thing. I don't know how to feel about it in terms of. I mean, I know how to feel about it in terms of how they're going to cover him. It's going to be gross, but I mean, I do think he's going to destroy the Republican. I don't want to say for good, but for 2024, he's going to take the whole. He's gonna if by some way he loses. He's going like the primary. He's going to take them all down with him. Like he's not going to be a good winner. He's not going to be a good loser. He's going to be a sore winner, a sore loser, and they're gonna regret ever getting involved with Donald Trump.
Well, I don't think there's any chance he loses the primary. I mean, if he loses the primary, I don't. In fact, if he loses the primary, I'm worried at that point because I think whoever the winner of that is, then they could beat Biden, and I assume it'd be like DeSantis.
But he wouldn't if in some way that happened, he wouldn't let them.
But it wouldn't matter at that point. If he loses the primary, that means he lost the voter. That means he lost his voters.
Well, that means he just
and
lost
whatever he says at that point. It's not going to matter.
That just means he lost the majority of the Republican voters. But if half those people stid home and didn't vote for whoever,
yeah, that's true.
It would not be good for the Republicans. I mean, I really wish I lived in the world they lived in, where they don't see him as like the leader of the party, where it doesn't matter that his candidates lost in the midterms to the Republican base. They are dealing with a base that's not living in reality. They're not living in the real world. They're under the assumption that they're only losing because of cheating and that they really are the winners and that most people actually think like them, even though it is the absolute opposite. They're actually toxic, a turnoff to anyone who is not a right-winger, where even the so-called moderates, whoever the hell they are, and independents are saying, "Yeah, we prefer the guys over there, the Democrats, to this shit."
What really amazed me is that there are actually just enough of those people that either didn't vote or voted for Democrats, because this, the so-called, I don't know, moderate Republican, I feel for the most part doesn't really exist in terms of the actual voter, because if at this point, how could you still be a Republican but not like Trump? Like who are you? Like what? Why are you still with the party?
You're the Daily Wire staff. That's basically who you are.
But no, they go along with Trump.
Well, now they're not.
Oh, we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, of course. Until he wins.
Once the subscriptions drop, that's it.
Right.
They're going to get back on the wagon. Like I just don't. I don't know. They can try and do that now, and they're trying. And I think they're trying because they see the death of the party in the future if they continue with Trump, or not the death of the party necessarily, but like the death of they're going to lose the next election if it's Trump again. So I think they're really trying hard now to steer the ship at this moment, but I don't know if that can really hold. It just the people, as you said, they're too far gone. They don't live in reality.
Here, let's look at this. Let's look at this
It's
clip.
more team sports for them.
Let's look at this clip I pulled. This should work because it's not from the Trump thing, and so I've had it for it should work. This is a clip from outside Trump Tower today. It speaks for itself. Let's play this clip.
USA! 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 This is very disrespectful in the Arab states.
Ronda's got too big for his britches.
He's out.
He has plenty of time to gain wisdom.
Trump or death.
Let him stay in Florida for a while.
Remember when they did
Is there audio in this? I can't hear.
Oh, you don't hear it. Oh, 1 second. Let me fix that. That's not right. Let me fix
Then again,
this.
it's probably just mumbo jumbo. Like, are they saying anything that's actually?
All right, hold
like
on.
words?
Do you hear this? Let me know. Do you
Saddam
hear
Hussein's
this?
statue came down?
That's right, yes.
Remember when the Saddam statue came down?
You don't hear that?
He said,
Oy.
It's probably just bullshit, anyways, right? Like, what are they?
Yeah, they're just basically saying, oh, here, I see what happened. For some reason, the audio was switching. All right, now you'll be able to hear it. Here.
USA! USA! USA!
You hear that now, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
USA! This is very disrespectful in the Arab states.
Ronda's got too big for his britches.
He's out.
He has plenty of time to gain wisdom.
Trump or death.
Let him stay in Florida for a while.
Remember when they did the Saddam Hussein
That's
statue
right,
came down?
That's right, yes.
Remember when the Saddam statue came down?
Hey.
He said, my father used to say to me, he used to say, son, I brought you into this world, I can take you out.
Everything
We're
DeSantis
taking him
has,
out.
everything he's got, he
We're
goes to Trump.
It's Trump or death.
But I want to give
or
a message
death.
out. I want to send a message. You think Nancy Pelosi might watch this? Well, Nancy, your reign of terror is almost over, and I hope you realize there's no ice cream in hell. And your husband's a cruiser. He cruises for rough trade on Castro
This is
Street.
Ed, the Santa Claus.
Put him on a short leash.
Now, I just want to point
man.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I mean, again, they live in a bubble. Like, he sincerely asked, do you think Nancy Pelosi is going to be watching this? Like, he looked absolutely sincere, like as if she's going to watch this random fucking video that someone took outside Trump Tower. But, I mean, one really telling thing, obviously, is the Trump guy saying, my father used to tell me I brought you into this world, I could take you out. That's like fucking child abuse. That's now you understand where these people are coming from, how they were brought up, the people who raised them. Jesus Christ. I mean,
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. No, that's true.
It really explains who these people are. I mean, they are demented, and they're corny too. They're so corny. I can't imagine hanging out with these people. They're weird, whatever. I can't even say sense of humor because there is none there. There's just like Their jokes aren't funny. They make no sense. It's constant referencing inside jokes that only they understand and no one outside the little MAGA bubble ever gets it. You could always tell, like when you're on Twitter or on social media anywhere, even on Facebook, a right-wing meme always references some super insidery thing with zero context that leaves anyone who's just scrolling by thinking like, what the fuck does this mean? What is this?
I guess that's how they. I mean, it's watching that. This is like, yeah, this is a cult. That's what to have that kind of view on Trump, and like it's Trump or death. Like what the. There's no there isn't I don't think there's a single Bernie Sanders supporter who'd be like it's Bernie or death. And if there is, then they're not well and they need help. Like
right.
but for the right, that is like the majority of Trump supporters. That's I mean those people are, two extreme guys, but I can't imagine the rest of the base is that far off that. I mean that's pretty I think that's a good representation of how they operate.
Like I can't wait for Ron DeSantis to be introduced to the United States of America, for the country to get to know Ron DeSantis and how unimpressed they're going to be by him. He is the perfect candidate for these stuffy DC type Republicans who think that, I wouldn't even be surprised if he didn't even, if when it came down to Trump and DeSantis, if Trump even inched out the win there, honestly. I mean, the idea that DeSantis is going to run wild on on Trump and win the primary because he's liked in Florida. I mean, they don't know him. The Republican base doesn't know him besides him being like a guy who's owning the libs in Florida and shipping immigrants to Martha's Vineyard. But he's already played that card. What more does he got? Trump is going to go out there and pull his Trumpisms and all that shit, and they're going to eat it up out of the palm of his hand and turn on whoever he tells them to turn on.
Yeah, ultimately, it's the fact that Trump is a right-wing comedian. He's an entertainer. I think that's why he is able to maintain the support that he has, because he doesn't really speak as a politician. He doesn't operate as a politician. He's out there just being ridiculous, and his supporters love that shit. DeSantis has none of that charisma. I mean, they try to equate, DeSantis with, or supporters of DeSantis try to say, DeSantis is like Trump without the baggage, which, you could argue is true, but that's, you're missing what makes Trump so popular, and that's his charisma. That's his ability to get laughs, even out of, me occasionally. Like Trump says ridiculous things that I'll laugh. That's why he has this support. That's why he continues having this support. DeSantis has none of that. And I don't think anyone else can really take over that sort of, Trump support base unless they're also coming from the outside as an entertainer or a celebrity, and they're able to play to the base in that similar way. But as far as I see, I mean, I'm sure there are some other crazy right-wingers out there that could do that, but I haven't seen one that can do it as well as Trump does. And that's why he continues to gain the support. And I think that's why he'll win the primary.
Oh, apparently Fox News just cut away from Trump's speech as he was going into a rant about Angela Merkel. who's not even the chancellor of Germany anymore.
What? He's announcing a run and then he has a beef with Angela Merkel. Like, like what? This is why covering any Trump speech, any rally is just a waste of time, because it's like there are bits of information. I mean, like this announcement that he's running, and then the rest of it is just like him running his mouth about whatever. It's him going to therapy. That's what these rallies are. It's therapy for him to go out there and then vent about whatever's bothering him. And then that's, that takes up 3 hours just him venting about whatever vendetta he has. It's just so, the whole thing is so ridiculous. And it actually amazes me that people haven't gotten bored of it, because it's so clear he is so self-obsessed. It's all about ego for him. doesn't that get exhausting? Even as a supporter of his, like, wouldn't that get exhausting for those people to just see this guy complain about himself, or people that hate him every time they see this guy talking? Like, it just he the Trump of 2016 is gone. The guy that's talking about, you'll have health care if I'm in power. That guy is gone. It's all about him. It's all about ego. It's all about who's wronged him. And people haven't gotten bored of that. Like, it's so weird. And like, there are people. I'm sure people have, uncles or aunts or friends who are like that, and no one likes that person, right? That person shows up to a dinner and they're just talking about themselves the entire time and all these beefs they have, and you're like, you're the problem. You have all these beefs because you're the issue here. But it's like, I don't know how people continue finding that to be engaging and interesting and continue supporting it. The whole thing is, again, just bizarre to me.
Breaking news here. This is important. Carrie Lake has come out and endorsed Trump.
For real?
Well, of course.
Oh my God.
She's hitched her.
She wants that VP spot so badly. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know. After her run
After
for
losing.
governor of Arizona went so swimmingly, she's gonna jump next to VP. Yeah.
You know who's next? Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard's gonna jump on.
Yeah, she's
It's gonna be Tulsi Gabbard and Carrie Lake going for that that spot.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Tulsi is another conversation. Just like the transition. I mean, she was coming. That her turn has been coming for a while, but the move from like Biden being too far right, he's too conservative, to I'm endorsing Biden, to Biden is now communist Mao. It's just like, it was so quick in 2 years. It was really incredible to watch that.
Yeah.
I feel like you're reading breaking news. Is there more breaking news happening?
I'm trying to follow what's.
It's probably just him, going up.
Yeah, you never know what he's gonna do though, and of course there's one line that I was looking at right then was, apparently he said that there was a decade of peace and prosperity when he was president. Somehow 4 years of Trump led to a decade of peace and prosperity, while also, by the way,
it felt like
everything being shit under Biden. So somehow Trump retroactively had to have made it peace and prosperity before he was president, because apparently everything was shit after. I don't know, or maybe he just crammed those 10 years into four, which honestly it did feel like. So maybe he's onto something there. 4 years of Trump definitely did feel like a decade.
Yeah. I bet you he just thinks like a decade means like a chunk of time. He doesn't know it means 10 years. Like, right. I was in power for a decade and it was amazing. Like, nobody.
I mean, let's talk a little bit about, because this sort of became the Trump show, and I was expecting to talk more about. We started with the midterms, like a broader thing actually, but let's get back to a few specific races. I mean, Fetterman destroying Oz, Kelly destroying Masters. I can't believe that one wasn't called earlier, because it never got closer. It was never a nail biter. Mastio Cortez even pulling out the win over what's his face, Lax, whatever his last name is, I can't remember, the Republican. Yeah. And she was supposedly the most vulnerable. We'll have Herschel Walker and
Raphael
Warnock in a rematch in a couple weeks. I mean, the sad thing about that is that Warnock's actually a good senator. Like, the fact that we might not have him in there. I know people are like, we already held the Senate. Don't think like that. I mean, Manchin and Sinema are still there. But also, if we're gonna lose a Democratic senator, Warnock's not the one we'd want to lose. Like, from a leftist perspective, like, the dude is actually, interestingly, even the other senator from Georgia, Ossoff, both of them been pretty damn good, especially considering they're from Georgia and had to, like, sort of, you'd think they'd have, and I don't mean to knock Georgia, I mean their constituency. You'd think their constituency wouldn't go for, they would have to worry about their constituency, and so they wouldn't vote for more progressive policy. Now, an addendum is that the policy that usually hits the Senate ain't so progressive, but the two of them have been pretty damn good when it comes to actually voting on whatever good stuff that can get to the Senate.
Yeah, there were a couple of Bernie Sanders amendments that I forget what they are exactly now. They may have been wage raises or something that Bernie tried to add to the Inflation Reduction Act, and no other senator voted for them except Bernie, Warnock, and Ossoff. And I was like, wow, this is good. like even though it's not going to pass, they still supported this Bernie amendment that no one else did, showcasing even like Warren didn't support it, so showcasing that these are like. They both surprised me, especially Ossoff. I didn't think anything of Ossoff initially because didn't he initially run for another position?
Yeah, he ran.
I think from the House.
He ran for House. In like a moderate or centrist or right-leaning district. I don't remember. He ran twice, I think. That's when like all the resistance libs were going crazy and voting their what was it? Their Ossoff. That was the thing. You remember that? Yeah. Vote your Ossoff.
Vote my Ossoff.
Yeah, and he really put himself forward as like sort of like a run-of-the-mill like centrist Dem. And then he ran statewide in Georgia and came out more as a. I mean, again, we should say they ain't Bernie Sanders, and and there's
but more
not
like
very,
left of center than the typical Democrat.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, there is no like leftist contingent in the Senate. No. The Senate is like, I mean, I guess Fetterman will now be like the second most progressive in there after Bernie. Depending on how Fetterman decides to run. I mean, but Fetterman's been pretty progressive for his political career so far, so I doubt he would go back on that. I mean, I know some people are upset over the fracking stuff, but it is Pennsylvania. You do have to make some, if you want to win your campaigns, you do have to make some concessions here and there.
Yeah, he's bad on two. He's bad on fracking and bad on Israel. But
right, Bernie ain't perfect either. Bernie's weak on certain areas too. I mean, you take what you can get.
Yeah, but those races, like, to see Fetterman defeat Oz was just like a sigh of relief. Like, thank God people were able to look past the debate, look past this guy that, is suffering or still recovering from a stroke, and see that Fetterman actually has a history of caring about people, actually fights for people, actually has policies that wants to, improve the lives of individuals, compared to Oz, who was just a bunch of hot air and seeking power. So it was, and the fact that, Oz, again, celebrity, that gets, your foot in the door. The name recognition means a lot in these races. And for Fetterman to be able to get past all of that, really gave me, again, some hope, at least for voters in Pennsylvania, that they were able to see who was worth voting for, at least the majority voting for in that race.
Well, Fetterman actually outperformed Biden in Pennsylvania, which is
right.
Crazy. One thing I want to mention, being a New Yorker, is New York blew it for the rest of the country. That's where your lost seats are coming from that are going to hand the House to Republicans. Every district I think I saw in New York voted. The Biden percentage vote was more than the vote for the Democrats in this time around. And I remember also seeing that like the one area in Pennsylvania that went more right just happens to be the area that falls under New York City is like a media umbrella. Like they're just in that bubble where they get served the ads and content from New York City media. And we have a mayor here in New York City and Eric Adams who's perpetuating this crime bullshit. New York tilted further right because of a complete failure of the New York Democratic Party, which is honestly one of the worst state parties for the Democrats in the entire country. The fact that there isn't a complete house cleaning going on there is unbelievable. But of course they're not. In fact, the state party standing behind the guy who runs the party in New York. You have Sean Maloney, who pushed out Mondaire Jones, the progressive who held the district that basically redistricting took away Mondaire and Maloney's district, but the new district was mostly Mondaire Jones's old district. But Maloney decided to run, and he's the head of the DCCC.
DCCC, yeah.
Yeah, and and Mondaire Jones, very I mean, I like the guy, so I'm trying to think. Unstrategically, decided he would be better off not running against the head of the DCCC, but to run against, to run in a district nowhere near his old district, that basically covered parts of Brooklyn and Manhattan, which makes zero sense. And so basically, Mondaire Jones lost that district he ran in.
I wonder now if since Sean Patrick Maloney lost that race, does that give now a chance for Mondaire Jones to come back to that district and run next time?
I mean, he could run next time.
I feel like that must be a very weak seat for the GOP, right? Like that's an easy pickup next time if they have a good candidate.
I was reading that even because of even with redistricting, those I think at least 3 of those lost seats still voted for Biden in 2020. Like they were not originally right-wing leaning, or like their redistricting didn't turn
so
them
it's really
straight up.
Then turnout's the issue then. So then it was low turnout, I imagine, because people didn't want to vote for Patrick Maloney.
I don't think it was just low turnout. I think it was convincing suburban moms and the like that Democrats are bad on crime. A lot of those types have become anti-Democrat because of COVID policies. These are straight up weirdos in some parts of New York. People forget that New York is a big ass state, and like New York City may have the most people and could decide elections, but when you get to the problem with the House, then you have to count people in those districts, and that's where those votes, those Democratic votes are not always in the majority.
Yeah, but so that must really be like a New York media thing then, because you didn't see that across the country. Like that was really
No.
I mean, New York and California, oddly, were like the ones where the 2 states that Democrats didn't do as well in.
Yeah.
When they should be just complete, takeovers. Like it's weird to see both those states controlled by Democratic parties that just do not go anywhere near to the left where they should be able to because of the states they are in and the people they serve.
Right. No, absolutely. And I mean, it's something that the Democrats should really, especially in the context of this, in state houses across the country, Democrats won majorities in states where they haven't held majorities in decades. Like this wasn't an anomaly in certain races across the country. Like just weird, maybe we just had some really good candidates scattered across the country in like House races or Senate races, whatever. I mean, yeah, you did, but it wasn't like just flukes left and right. It was literally a blue wave, should I say, across the country, except in California, except in New York, and really the one state where Republicans got even redder, Florida. Every other state you saw like the winds of change.
Yeah, I mean it was I guess that it was largely a good result, but it was bizarre as an outsider to witness that and just see like, yeah, well, Florida, I mean, you kind of assume it's just gone now at that point. But to see, losses in New York, and it's because of, the leader of the DCCC, and like, if he didn't do what he did, lose his seat, like, so many things could have changed, and Democrats could still be holding the House. Like, it could just be a completely different election. But because this egomaniac like wanted to have this seat and ran the way he ran, and then he blamed AOC after. Didn't he like put blame on AOC after losing? Like he complained that somehow she hurt his race or something. It's just to see these total corporate hacks blame the left when they lost in a district that was controlled by a progressive. Maybe you're the problem. Maybe you ran too far to the right, and that's why you lost. But I don't know. Apart from some of those idiots, I do think there is some hope here for Democrats to, maybe learn something. See all these Bernie endorsed candidates winning their races. Someone like Summer Lee, overcoming all that money spent against her by AIPAC to win her race. Like there's so many examples of that, and to see that continue is, is good. I think we're going to see more of those progressive pickups in the future.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's I think these midterms and combined with this Trump announcement bode well for Dems in terms of this. I want to be straight up here. It is going to be their campaigns to lose. I want to really rein in expectations a little bit because we know that the Dems do drop the ball a lot. So if they want to actually take advantage, I really do think the landscape of the political world is for their taking. And they need to decide what they want to stand for, what they want to fight for, and actually put in the work to do it and put forward candidates who are going to do that as well. I mean, don't get your hopes up, but somehow all the stars aligned for the midterms. Those were some pretty damn good candidates, honestly. Like you just mentioned, Summer Lee in the House. There, that first Gen Z in the House in Florida, Maxwell Frost, I believe his name is.
Yeah.
In Texas, I can't remember his name. I think his name is Greg Cesar.
Yeah.
Another.
There's a few I covered in my video, but I forget the names. But yeah, there's at least 4 main ones, and then there were others as well that did really well.
Right.
That also won. There was a lot more than usual, and they all won.
Even Senate races like Fetterman, obviously. Who else did they? Was that the only? That's the only new pickup, right? I think so. All the others were holding on to seats that everyone thought Republicans were probably going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they should look at Fetterman. Really, Fetterman gave them the keys to victory. Look what he did. I mean, and I think the left needs to take a lesson from Fetterman too. And I'm always shocked that no one brings this up. Really, Fetterman really. Obviously he has a long-time history in Pennsylvania. He was a mayor in a working class city there. Look at the guy. He looks like just, Pennsylvania biker dude. Everyone loves to talk about how big he is, which honestly I think that does help. Just visuals. Unfortunately, people love that shit, which bodes well for any future political career I would want. But anyway, one thing that I think is overlooked, and I really do think this was huge, and this is the lesson the left needs to take, is Fetterman really put himself out there in 2020. I don't know if you guys remember, but in 2020, right after the presidential election, when votes were still being counted and Pennsylvania was undecided, they were still counting the votes, Fetterman was on TV all the time talking about how the process needs to be respected. Every vote's going to count. We're not going to let Trump put forward this election fraud bullshit. And I know there were probably some leftists poo-pooing this and going like, this is not. But look what it did. It got normies to get into a progressive candidate, and they never questioned him. The Bernie bro shit never came up for John Fetterman. And look at John Fetterman. If they were going to do a Bernie bro campaign on any guy, you'd think it would be the tattooed goatee giant. And they didn't do it because they liked him because of the Trump, standing up against Trump and the election integrity shit. He just gave them that little bit of sweet talk, if you want to call it, and that was it. And you know what? It's respectable. He did that and put himself out there and became the face of that for Pennsylvania. And it paid off for him, I should say. It paid off so much for him, and I think it'd be smart for leftists to think about what some of those normie Dems want to hear that will not at all hurt your leftist bona fides or policy beliefs. Just literally media stuff and putting yourself out there and saying we're not going to let Republicans steal this shit. And I really think that did him so much in getting normie Dems in Pennsylvania to support him from the get-go. I mean, he won the primary and he won it pretty easily.
Yeah, I do think him looking a lot different than your typical Democrat, him looking like you're like a union guy. Somebody tweeted out, I forget who said that, but he's basically, if a union was a person, that's how Fetterman looks. Like that's that's kind of what I get from him. Like he's this guy that is just able to uh, really command this attention, and from people that I think normally wouldn't vote, like independents that would normally just look the other way, he's able to get this attention because largely how he appears and who he is, and because he looks different, then people pay a little more attention to what he's standing for, what he's fighting for, his platform, and I don't know, I think it definitely worked for him.
Yep. Yeah. Uh-oh. People in your chat are saying there's some echoing going on.
Yeah, I think you know what I think happened when you played video, whatever audio you changed to, it's playing back my audio to my audience, so they're hearing me
What?
twice. I think is what's happening.
Oh boy. All
because
right.
when you fixed your mic, it actually fixed the issue until you played a clip again.
I'm sorry. You should let me know. I would have changed it again.
I couldn't really tell because I'm talking here, but I do see it that's a problem.
Well, if you want, you could always pull the audio from my feed and just drop it into your video.
Yeah, I could do
Like and re-upload it if you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This was fantastic to talk with you, David, on this amazing night when Donald Trump decided to run for president. And besides listening to mainly just the audio of him saying, "I'm running for president," I think we had a much more fruitful discussion about his run for president than any media out there who was just playing what he was saying verbatim.
Yeah, definitely. If we just watched his speech for is he still going on? Like,
I don't even know. I mean, I wanted to play a little bit of it just so people get the idea of what his game plan was. I mean, apparently from what I'm seeing, the Groypers, but that's no surprise because the Groypers have turned on him already a little while ago. But the Groypers were complaining in their Telegram chats how boring his speech was and how he's lost it. But
well, I mean, he's been born for a while though, so maybe they're just paying attention now. I don't know.
yeah, he's
but
yeah.
hopefully people, I don't know. The thing is, like, I both want to see him like crash and burn, but I also want to see him take down the party, and he could only take down the party if he does not crash and burn. If he actually,
I forgot to mention this, and because I've been tracking it, but there's not enough for like a full blown discussion on it yet. I'm still trying to get all the details and see how far they're going to take this. But for people who are wondering how Trump world, how MAGA, the most MAGA faithful, are going to take this, if they're going to still be behind Trump, just a few days ago, QAnon believers started sharing fake shit, tying Ron DeSantis into some sort of business with Dr. Fauci in order to sully Ron DeSantis' good name. So any question about the faithful, the Donald Trump faithful, the QAnon believers, and who they're going to be with, just don't even question it. They're going to create, the Republican Party's about to get a taste of their own medicine. They're about to get all the lies and all the bullshit and all the fake conspiracies tossed in their direction. And it's going to be all about them. Some of them have already got it. Like QAnon's already been anti like the establishment Republicans like Mitch McConnell or whatever. But they're all about to eat it now. They're all about to take a spoonful and they're all going to get it. So I look forward to that, quite frankly. I can't wait for the equivalent to Comet Pizza for the Republican Party.
At the very least, there's going to be a lot more entertainment, I guess, on the right. That watching the fight on the right is going to be a lot more enjoyable than watching or experiencing the fight on the left. So there'll be that.
All right, David Doel, everybody. This was fantastic. We should, again, do this more. I think this is the first time you've been on my show. I think I've been on your show once or twice before.
Yeah, you have. Talking about crypto stuff.
Right. That's ridiculous. We should do it more often.
Yeah, I agree. This is good.
Yeah, especially after last week. That was a lot of fun. People are already calling it it was like the leftist YouTuber all-star team or something. I saw some people say.
I think that should be a new podcast. I don't know about you.
Yeah,
weekly podcast. Get a bunch of people on.
Right. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. For David Doel's audience, because we're crossing streams here, multicasting. You can check me out at youtube.com/MattBinder. Why don't you just go open a new window, subscribe right now while you're watching David's channel, and you're already logged into YouTube. And for my listeners, probably already know who you are, but just in case, where can they find you, David?
They can find me at therationalnational.com. That redirects to the YouTube page. You can also, if you want to join the Patreon page, join Patreon, therationalnational.com/join. And also you can find me on Twitter, if it still exists, at David Doel, Doel.
There you go. And I guess that's a good idea. Patreon.com/Matt Binder as well. And I'm at Matt Binder on Twitter. Again, we'll see how that goes.
And I've linked to your stuff below my video as well, so people can just check it out on my chat. Really easy.
There you go. And I will do the same. I usually do the same, but I guess I forgot because I forgot to put it up till right before we went live. I'll get your stuff in there too. Have a great night,
Awesome.
David. Always a pleasure.
You too. Great talking to you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, folks. It is time to go to the second half of the show. I have already shouted out the Patreon page, but I'll do it again. Patreon.com/Matt Binder. Support this show. Again, it's been an interesting couple of months because we were losing patrons for a little bit because people were literally telling me, I'm sorry I lost my job, hope to be back soon. Totally understand that. I think there were you could see it, layoffs are happening across the country the past couple of months, so that's what's going on. But then this past month, the bleeding, at least for now, stopped. But we're not really gaining anybody, but we have gained a few. That's definitely a better direction. So if you haven't become a patron subscriber and would like to, go to patreon.com/MattBinder and join these wonderful people who've just joined me since the last week. Let me go and see. Brian B., Chai T-Rex, Noel P., Kevin M., Connor W., and Roger F. Thank you all so much for becoming patrons. As always, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/MattBinder. I will answer these super chat questions. I see it. Don't worry. We're going to the second half of the show. I'll answer it then. I see people saying there's super chats. I'll get to that. youtube.com/MattBinder. And while you're there, if you want to give a one-off payment, like a tip to me or whatever, you can drop a super chat in the live chat stream, and I read all super chats in the second half of the show. You can also go to twitch.tv/MattBinder. If you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you can subscribe, which is a paid subscription on Twitch, for free, as in free for you, but paid for me. You just got to connect your Amazon Prime account, to your Twitch account, and Amazon will gift you that free Twitch Prime subscription every month. It's got to be a manual thing you do. You have to resubscribe manually every month if you want to subscribe to me. Give it to somebody, though, if it's not me. It's a waste to just let Amazon keep that extra money. What else? As always, doomedcast.com for the podcast version of this show. Check out my other show, Scam Economy, where Ed Zitron joined me this week to talk about everything that's happened with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. It is the most downloaded episode already in Scam Economy's history. That's right. In one day, it has become the most downloaded episode. I guess now, but even before, it's now day 2. But even before day 2, on day 1, it became the most downloaded Scam Economy episode since I started the show about 9 months ago. Definitely check that episode out. And if you haven't yet, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, especially Apple Podcasts. Scam Economy is currently right now high up on the podcast charts because of the success of that episode in the technology category. And if people leave reviews, it bumps it up even higher. We're doing bigger than like a lot of name podcasts right now. Like podcasts from the New York Times, Vice, Vox. So definitely, if you haven't yet, leave a review and check out that episode, scameconomy.com. At Matt Binder on Twitter for as long as that lasts. And let's go to the second half of the show where you can call in. Just open up Skype and you can just search Doomed Live, one word, Doomed Live, and I take the calls as they come in. We can have a conversation about whatever you'd like. Let's do that right now. If you're watching on the live stream or you're a patron, you can stick around. Nothing will change for you. Just give me a second to it's the same feed too. Just give me a second to refill my drink. For people listening to the free podcast, this is where I say, I will see you next time on Doomed. Today on
ecological collapse, corporate fascism, corporate journalism, police brutality, voter suppression, austerity economics, educate the masses, rampant homophobia,
we got our first caller. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up, Matt?
Hey,
You from Jamaica?
Dave from Jamaica. How are you doing, my friend? What are we going to talk about today?
I don't think you are exactly what you claim you are. I would say you're a conservative. What makes you a liberal? I'm pro-Green New Deal. Are you? Yes, really? Absolutely. I have watched the show. I've seen you completely come out and get really mad at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for some of the things in the Green New Deal.
You mean like free college for black people?
All right, we are back. We are back. Welcome to the post show. It is I, your host, Matt Binder. We're gonna take calls. Gonna have a good time here. Let me read some super chats while I wait for the calls to come in. There's some people calling during the break there. Sorry I missed it, but I need my break, you know. Let's go to... Oh, this is the super chat everyone was demanding I answer. And you'll have to wait because the call just came in. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from? Oh, hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Is this me?
This is you. Hold on, let me change the...
I'm sorry, let me mute my other thing. I'm sorry.
Let me also change the camera settings and the audio settings so it's just easier for everyone to hear me.
Wait, do you...
Hold on.
Oh,
Okay,
shit.
there you go. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, I'm Danny.
Hey, Danny. Can I bring you up on the...
All right, I'm gonna fix this. Hold on.
Oh, you still can't hear me?
All right. Can you hear me now?
I can. Can you hear me?
I hear you. Yes.
Perfect. Can I bring you up on the feed or?
Yeah, you can. Yes. Yes.
Okay, cool. So, what would you like to talk about?
Um, do you? I'm Danny from Maryland. Do you remember? I'm the photographer.
I do remember. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talk about punk music and.
I remember. Yeah. Well, a few people
Yeah.
called in, but I remember Danny and the punk music together. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I wanted to tell you that I learned something bad. I learned a bad story the other day. I thought you might find it interesting.
Uh-oh.
So, like, I am from PG County, Maryland. So I was going to a school in my hometown in PG, gorgeous Prince George's. So in I got there, and usually no one's there when I get there because it's set up for pictures, right? And it was like the custodian let me in. He's super nice. We had to set up in the library, and he was like, we don't have a librarian anymore. And I was like, what's that about? And he gave me a couple hints, and I did some Googling, and I looked it up, and this librarian did some hate crimes. He went across PG County and spray painted groomer on libraries across PG County. And it's pretty dark. And it's just really upsetting because like PG County is like one of the most diverse counties in the country. It's on the east side of, it's like if you were in DC and you go east, PG County touches DC, so like you expect this from like Alabama or something. You don't like just to be from my hometown, like someone got their brain poisoned that bad. It's depressing a little bit, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pretty dark. It made me sad. I can send you the link if you're interested, but I didn't want to reveal the school I was at because it will tell you that in the link. So I don't know if I want to.
That's fine. You don't have to. No, of course.
Right.
I mean, yeah, there's some. I mean, that's usually. That seems to be. Well, this person didn't try to hide it. It doesn't seem from what you're telling me. But like, whenever you hear about a story about like right wingers home defaced with graffiti that's like says like "Go Biden," "We heart anarchy," it turns out that they are just the ones spray painting their own homes with that shit.
Yeah, like it was weird, and like talking to the custodian, he's like, this guy seemed normal. He didn't seem like a weirdo. And then I he's got his brain broken on the internet, I guess. I don't know. Like, that's why I was really upset. Like that whole I got so mad when I saw that Joe Rogan Matt Walsh thing. Like I expect very little of Joe Rogan, but that was bad. That was really fucking bad. You know what I mean? That was like below even Joe Rogan level to talk to Matt Walsh like he's an expert on trans people or whatever the fuck that was. That's gross.
Yeah,
it's a problem.
I mean, it's not surprising. I mean, what was interesting was the fact check though that came from what I'm assuming is
what Jamie. This guy is Jamie, right? Is that his name?
I think it really did seem like Spotify was like, listen, you gotta fact check that bullshit.
Yeah.
Like I don't mean that specific. I mean, he got shit, and Spotify was like, you gotta somehow do a little bit of fact checking during the show. We can't just. I mean, this is getting ridiculous because that's not something that I've seen before. I mean, I'm not an avid Joe Rogan listener, but that's the first time I've seen a clip like that spread where there was a fact check in that way. I mean, I know Joe Rogan's famous for going, Jimmy, let's pull this up, but they had actually started to move past it, and his producer made them go back to it to correct it. Which not an avid Joe Rogan fan, but I've never seen that before.
I want to see more of that, but like, you should never have Matt Walsh on. Like, he's not close to being. I don't know. He's not interesting. He's just. This is Nazi shit, man. This is just Nazi shit. This is like. What's his face? Hirschfeld or whatever. They burned his books first. This is just Nazi 101, man. It's driving me insane. It's grossing me out a little bit, but it's very upsetting to me. But I have a couple other quick things to bring up. One is Tulsi Gabbard. That came up. I want to tell everyone that nothing Tulsi does surprises me because of the best thing I've ever listened to or like learned about Tulsi was in 2019, October 30th, Worst Year Ever podcast. It's the Behind the Bastards guy and Cody Johnston, who was on the Majority Report once, the Even More News guy. I want to bring that up. Like, it's very important. They did an episode on October 30th, 2019, The Cult of Tulsi Gabbard. If you listen to that, you will not be surprised by anything ever she does. She's nuts, and I recommend that to everyone. That is the best deep dive I've ever heard on her, and nothing surprises me from her if you know this. So I want to bring that up. And to lighten it up, I wanted to ask you one question, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Who is the coolest at a show? Like, who's the coolest artist you've ever met? Band, like who was like the friendliest to you? Who was like so welcoming? Like, it's so good to meet a fan, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I tend not to do that. I tend not to introduce myself or anything like that. I don't want to seem like a fanboy or a groupie. I don't want to annoy people.
I don't want to do that either. I
know. I get your question. I'm not saying it's bad that people do this, but that's just like who I am, I guess. I don't do that. Nothing wrong with it. I don't know. I feel weird doing it. It's a personal thing. I love when people come up to me and say hello to me whenever I did a live show, though. So like,
right?
It's weird that I think that
like
because
that.
I like it. I've hung out with some people before, but usually when I was with people who did that, because I'm not that person.
Right.
I'm trying to think. I keep going back to The Unseen after I saw them play, and we hung out for a very little bit after the old singer from my band. I was with him, and this was just maybe like 5 or 6 years ago now. And they were very nice.
Oh, okay. Cool. I just like to know who's actually pretty down to earth and cool, that's all. Like, from my experience, actually, the one that comes to my mind as being the nicest person that I've ever met from a band is from your area, I believe. Daryl Palumbo of Glassjaw, Head Automatica. He was the nicest guy I've ever met. He was really cool. I believe he's from your area of like Brooklyn or something, I think. Yeah. Or Long Island, at least, I guess.
There you go. Oh yeah, all those guys are from Long Island. Yeah. Long Island scene used to be amazing. I don't know what happened.
I know, it was.
It was like, speaking of Long Island scene, I also back in high school, me and a friend of mine was starting a zine, and my assumption though was I don't think they ever did anything with it. They just used it to go hang out with bands, but for this one specific show, Taking Back Sunday was opening up. So that's how long ago this was. They were the opener,
I remember, yeah.
And she reached out to them and got them to agree to an interview. So she was like, "I know nothing about them. Can you come with me?" And so after they played, we went backstage in the Knitting Factory to interview Taking Back Sunday, and they were nice, but I think they also knew that this was just like I think they realized pretty quickly that these kids were not actually starting a zine and they were just fucking around.
That's pretty funny. Well done.
I didn't do anything. I didn't even see. I couldn't even do that. I couldn't even lie. I couldn't even pull that off. Someone else did that and was like, "Can you come with me?" And I was like, "Okay." Someone else had to take the initiative there. I don't have it in me to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I wish I could be, Because then that's also the mindset of like the SBFs of the world, the true scammers
True.
who are able to just mop up clean house, I should say, and just grab money and be rich. It's I cannot tell a lie.
I understand. I feel the same way. That's all. But
Thanks
I
for
don't
the
know. If
call.
you,
Wait.
if you want, I can send you the link to that story.
Oh yeah,
It's-
do send me that link. I want to check it out. Thanks for the call. Really great.
Yeah, I just don't want to expose like which school or all
Yeah,
that.
don't worry about
You
it.
should check it out though. It's pretty fucked, but yeah.
Sounds good.
Thanks for taking my call, man.
Okay, no problem. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, great show. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Ooh, that must have been quite the show. The show mall. So Taking Back Sunday was saves the day. Damn. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey man, it's Josh from California. How you doing tonight?
Hey, Josh from California. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. So, two quick things. I grew up in Maryland. There have been Nazis there for fucking ever.
They've been Nazi. It's welcome to the United States of America.
Well, yeah. I'm old. This was in like the late 80s, and people painted swastikas on my neighbor's garage. So it's not like it's something that, is unheard of in Maryland, where people are hateful shits. So, yeah. So I don't know. Also, David, and you sort of brought up California. You will see progressive candidates from everywhere else in the country before you see true progressives from California. People have money here, and the labor unions have power among the Hispanic community, and that's about it. And there's a lot of I'm socially liberal but fiscally conservative people. That shit went away everywhere else in like 2000. It's still very popular here. Because that way they can say the right things, but they don't have to give up anything. So that's California Dems. So they're gonna vote for the Nancy Pelosi's and the Dianne Feinsteins.
Well,
and
I want to say thank God for the first one.
I know you love her. But that's, and honestly, part of the problem is candidate quality. It really is, like a lot
Canada
of people,
quality?
Yeah.
You mean wait? You said candidate quality, right?
Yes, a lot
Okay.
of the people who run as supposed progressives here suck.
All right.
They're
My joke was, it sounded on my end that you said it's all about Canada quality, and I was like, what?
Yeah. Canada too, absolutely.
That too, right? Yeah.
But they in my district, we had this guy just run. First off, when he would knock on doors, and he was, rather than trying to differentiate himself by policy, although he did that a little bit, a lot of what he did was like, oh, she's old and it's time. And I'm not in Pelosi's district. I'm close to it, but not in it. And it was just like civility politics still plays in the Democratic Party, unfortunately. So there was a lot of she's old and she's past her time and she's gross or whatever, just really insulting shit. And it was, you could see the response on local Facebook groups and stuff of did this guy say this when he came to knock on your door? Because I found it really, really rude. And they're like, yeah, I thought it was weird too. And also he's, was on the Saratoga City Council, and he fought against, so the state sort of took control of zoning a couple of years ago, in 2020, because local cities and counties were fighting against housing quotas. And so It was SB 9 and 10, and he was like one of the he was the leader on the Saratoga City Council fighting against SB 9 and 10 because it's a very wealthy area and it's, let's keep the poors out of our multi-million dollar developments. And so, it's how progressive are you really? So the candidate quality is really bad in a lot of people supposedly running as progressives here. And it's really frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah. I mean, yeah. Especially being that people think of, and I could tell you from, I feel that coming from New York, people think, oh, you're in New York, California, blue states. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, again, it's, hopefully trans and minority and gay, I know, gay people feel pretty safe in San Francisco and that kind of stuff. And I think that's great. But if you just shuffle who's in the chairs at the top, it doesn't really make, it makes a little bit of a difference, but then you're just oppressing different people. Like if the number of poor doesn't change or it gets worse, who cares at the top? Who cares who's at the top? For most people. So I don't know. The other thing I wanted to talk about briefly is, did you catch this Chappelle shit?
I didn't.
It's disgusting.
What did he do on SNL?
Yeah, basically got mad at Kanye and Kyrie for getting caught for being anti-Semites while dog whistling his entire time. He's definitely Nation of Islam. Like, he converted to Islam in a pizza shop in DC in 1999.
Wait, really?
Yes, I know that neighborhood. That's Nation of Islam. Like, they would hang out and hand out their literature and their, the bow ties with the glasses and the checkered shirts and all of that stuff. That's exactly what so it was really disgusting, though. It was a lot of it's crazy or it's delusional to think that Jews run Hollywood, but there are a lot of Jews in Hollywood. And then, Kanye's delusional, but we're finding out that some black men's delusions are true type of a thing. So there was a lot of it's not true, but really it is, guys. Like, it kind of is true. And he ended his monologue with, and I hope they don't cancel me, whoever they are, which is like, let's just please hold up 3 parentheses on both sides. Like, come on.
Wow. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
It's disgusting.
We're living in great times right now.
Yeah, no, I know. It's fun. I just want to be left, I honestly, they don't even have to address our issues. Just leave us the fuck alone at this point. Like, stop talking about us. Stop thinking about us. Just leave us alone. That's all we want in this country, and that would be great. But yeah, no. The other thing was the best person I ever met backstage at a punk show was Greg Graffin. He's a little up his own ass. Like, he's very, he's a PhD in philosophy, so it is what it is. But he's actually very welcoming to fans and really cool. So.
Oh, there you go. I honestly can't remember that many, so I'm sure there's going to be. I'm going to think of one and be like, oh, I should have brought it up, but I'm really bad at remembering things like that. I don't know. I was never one for meeting famous people. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, because they're all just people, so it's like, and they're all out there doing a job. I mean, a lot of them really are appreciative. Like, some of them are actually shocked that people like them. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think. Really trying to think of one. Oh, I didn't hang out with them, but when I was a kid, I was waiting for an elevator in a Manhattan office building with my dad, and Henry Rollins walked out. That's a story. That one stuck with me.
Did he say anything? Was he like,
No.
"Hey kid,
I must have been I don't know, 11, 10.
Oh.
So yeah, I was too young to even. My dad told me who it was. He has a very specific face, obviously. So I remember, but I just
Yeah. Yeah, I've had a couple of those over my lifetime. Actually, if you ever get a chance, well, I mean, I don't know if he's still building houses, but Jimmy Carter is actually awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he and his wife are just like adorable. Like that's what I hope when I'm 95, like we're that like my wife and I are that cute and still doing stuff together, because that's just like really awesome.
I mean,
he was not a great president, but
yeah, bless him
everything
for still being out there and doing his doing his thing. I mean, yeah, not a great president, but yeah.
Although I think he gets a lot of shit for stuff that Ford and Reagan sort of fucked up, but that's a whole other thing.
That's a conversation for another day.
All right, man. You have a great evening.
You too. Take care. Always a pleasure.
Bye.
Bye. All right, let's go back to the phones. Ugh. I gotta say, I'm feeling exhausted still from this past week, and this week looks like it's gonna be more of the same. Hey, it's Omega. How you doing, my friend?
What's up, Matt?
Can I pull you up on the feed?
Sure.
I was gonna say what's your name? Where are you calling from? I already established that. How you doing, Omega? What we get to talk about?
Well, two things. One, and then another thing. I actually met a punk person myself too. I actually went to apply at a sandwich shop one time, and Danzig in full makeup was just eating one, and it was in the
really. You sure it was Danzig and not someone cosplaying?
No, it was definitely him, because I recognized his face, and I asked him, I'm like, it's like I feel like I should know him, and then I checked pictures, and I was like, oh, that is the fucking guy. Anyways, but he had the thing, and I was like, oh god. Anyways, so all right, to get into my main point, since nobody's brought this up yet, have you heard? Do you know anything about them trying to buy out CM Punk's contract in AEW yet?
Oh, I've not heard anything. I don't know what's going on there. It does seem like Punk is gonna leave AEW, right? That seems to be the case, doesn't it?
Yeah, so long story short, that brawl out happened because it was at All Out, and it's a brawl, and so now people are dubbing it the event. So that happened, and then pretty much Ace Steel got fired because he bit somebody.
Yes, I think we talked about what happened, the brawl, right?
Yeah, and so as a result of that, obviously the Elite, who are all VPs, they're not going to get just like, okay, bye. No, none of that crap. So somebody still has to kind of take the brunt of that outside of like them. So like Punk got the best of it in terms of getting like a slant, not the worst deal of it, but he still like did not get fired because like they did have to pay a significant amount of money. And it's kind of sad that like about a year later, after his first appearance, he's already gone, and it kind of makes him look like locker room poison now. And he appeared recently at an MMA show to do commentary, and he looks like he's reverting back to his old look with the long hair. And I'm like, all right, man, I guess. Because if you're having some kind of breakdown or something else is happening, it kind of makes you think a lot about like how he was before. Is like, was he difficult then to the wrong people too? Because I don't understand how you like just show up to a company and not even a year later you start having some big issues like that. To be honest.
I've heard that he's he's a guy who butts heads with people.
Yeah, like at first it seemed like it was for the right reasons, like, hey, my position is not that good. Can we do this or blah blah. And I thought with AEW it actually would be at least a good few years before he gets like a critical injury or something like that like takes him out of things. And I was hoping that he would have more of a series with Bryan Danielson because I mean we didn't get that in WWE. We like got a hint of that, which is still okay, and they did treat it like Brett and Shawn and stuff, but they didn't do much with it. And then his stuff happened, and then we kind of got screwed out of a few things with him. So it's kind of like a bummer. But then he came back, and then okay, some of these ROH people he's worked with, we get to see it again. But like with everybody being definitely aged more and more seasoned, it's like no, we didn't get that. So I was like, that's really disappointing, and I'm kind of like upset that I was even a fan of his because of that whole situation. Because it's like
No, I'm always gonna be a Punk fan. I'm always gonna. I'm not gonna let that. Is who he is. If he wasn't that guy, you wouldn't have got what you got. He wouldn't have been. I mean, he was basically playing himself for such a long time, so you wouldn't have had CM Punk if he wasn't that guy.
yeah,
If you look at it that way.
Yeah, because like I will say that like it's multifold. It's like yeah, it's kind of embarrassing that like it kind of feels a touch embarrassing that people were like super excited and then they like stuff happened like the injury. Okay, that's inevitable because he's had a history of injuries. I'm like okay, but then the whole brawl, it's kind of like he might be a hard ass, but he can't be that much of a hard ass, and that's kind of stupid because it's like there were times he kind of like gave off a vibe that he just like was in for himself at times, but with everything that happened, you thought it was mainly just because he wanted to be positioned better, but he didn't want to like step on people's toes like that. But
I see
yeah,
what you're saying. No, I mean, I think you got to take who he is with, otherwise you wouldn't have the character. Yeah, I mean it's a rough spot for AEW because he clearly was being positioned as like the face of the company, quite frankly. I don't know if I would have worked really hard to fix things. I would not have fired anybody, but I don't know internally what's going on and legally what's going on. So I can only say that as an outsider, because all four of those guys are money.
yeah, and if we had to learn anything from his stuff with WWE is that legally we have to like really be thoughtful of it. It's like maybe something else happened on top of that too. Who knows? They're obviously super quiet, not even mentioning stuff about it just for that reason alone. So I get it. It's like okay, same thing with the Try Guys. It's like oh, they're not mentioning past the point because they just don't want to like set off any legal fires for people to put out.
Yeah. Well, the Try Guys. That's interesting. I honestly think that was just like their.
Think of, but
No, I honestly just think that was all about them just trying to. I don't know what that was all about. It was very weird. That's all I know.
I know that club he was at, and that's kind of wild, but it's like small enough that like if somebody with some notoriety came through, people would notice it. So I mean, and
who cares?
too.
You know what I mean?
He's a local to that spot too, and you'd be shocked like if you saw him because he was like not. Let's just say he's in our age range, and it's a little wild, but it's like but if you see the guy, you would understand his privilege a little bit. Anyhow, my other thing was I kind of got a bone to pick because I saw that you're on the thing with Destiny of all people, and like I know a lot of people are kind of like, whoa, like I was a little hesitant to listen to this. I'm like, I don't think I want to listen to something with Destiny like on it.
I mean, I barely interacted with him, and when we did, it was mostly on things that we were in somewhat agreement on.
Yeah, I'm like a little uneasy because like when I see that guy, I was like, dude, didn't he like have like this whole? Didn't he seem like super obsessed with Keffels or something like that because they had like this thing going on?
Oh, I forgot about that. Right? Yeah. I mean, I didn't invite him on the stream, and
Yeah, I think you weren't you like just invited to theirs and it was just like a whole thing.
Yeah.
There and
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you were busy that night. Holy shit.
It was fun though. I mean, I'm all for it if it's as fun as that was. I wish the right wing stream was a little bit more alive, I guess you can say. There were a little bit too many dead points where people just, I don't know, were trying to be too friendly, and that's not the point of that stream. You know what I mean? You have all those names there. Also, weirdly, I was on at the same time as, and I don't think it was done purposely. I think that's how it worked out with everyone's scheduling. But I was on at the same time as Ben Burgess and Destiny, who, out of all those people on that feed, probably the closest to. Oh, Ben Burgess is not even, like, me and him are probably on the same page with a lot of things. But then Destiny, definitely more so than what I would be on the same page with than right wingers. So, like, two people that I wouldn't have much to disagree with, at least the topics of that episode, that stream. And so, like, you know, we needed more right wing figures on when all those non right wingers were on the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's really sad, like, seeing the I was really hoping the tide would turn drastically, like, for the House, but it's like, no. It would, like, once it got close enough, it's like, oh, dude, they're like a vote. They're like one person away.
I will. Hold on, I do want to interrupt you. I do want to say, because some people are saying they couldn't watch that stream. I do want to say you definitely should go into that stream and find my back and forth with Sean Fitzgerald, a right winger who is on, about homeless people in New York. I think that was a very revealing discussion. And I think I might have to just cut it just so people don't miss it. But it got a little bit heated, at least on my end, because I could not believe what I was hearing. And I think that was a really good part to pull out of that stream, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Like, see, now you kind of convinced me to check it out, whatever. Because I was like one of those people. I was just like, the second I saw Destiny, it was like that Drake meme where I was like, But anyhow, yeah, that's about it for me. Anyhow, see y'all around. And oh, by the way, did you see an Amber who used the name Cosmic Politics? I was just like, oh, they're gonna start asking for Sam's hand in marriage. Watch.
Wait, what happened?
At Sam's show. Somebody I am the show with the name Cosmic Politics in their name, and I was like, oh no.
Oh really? Oh.
I don't know if that's Christina or not, or maybe just a fan just trying to nudge something, just like, you know, put her in, have him mention her name or something like that.
Hey, I don't know. I didn't even know about it.
Yeah, maybe she should actually call in, but then again, I don't know, like, how that would be interpreted once, like, with some of the people that call into the show at times. I'm like, I don't know how that would go. Maybe then that guy that called them a cutie pie would probably go a lot better, because Sam is like more accepting of that, and like obviously that's a boundary for him that you don't want to push, but you know.
All right.
Yeah. Anyhow.
All right.
Later, Matt.
Always a pleasure. All of a sudden I got like get this, like, I feel like a migraine coming on. So sorry if I'm a little bit slow. I'm like, I feel it coming on.
Yeah, I'm at that point now. As soon as I turned 30, I started getting that too, and I thought it was like something related to me eating. And after seeing like 3 specialists, I was like, they're like, oh no, just take magnesium and then your migraines will like slow down and then you'll be fine. I'm like, great. And it's also like me drinking coffee. I was like, I used to kind of look at my wife funny for that, but now it happens to me. It's like, that's what I get. Yeah. Also, your audio is like a little weird. It's like coming through like differently on Skype than it would be on the stream. It sounds like you're using a laptop mic on the thing. Just saying.
Oh, really? It does? Oh, wait. Doesn't sound that way. It probably sounds that way on Skype. I'm sorry. Let me.
Yeah, Skype.
I see what's going on here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How does this?
Cool.
How does this sound? How does this sound? Did it fix?
Better. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, just in case it would throw somebody else off or whatever.
All right. Thanks a lot. Have a great night.
Later.
All right, folks. Let's go do the super chats. I'm feeling a little bit off tonight. For the David Doel stuff, I was fine. And all of a sudden, I don't know, I'm feeling a little bit off. Hope I'm not coming down with something. Renee with a super chat. Check out the new video from Amon Animations, or DeSantis becomes two douches Gottlier. Oh, there's two different super chats. Okay. The last one, I'm not sure what you're saying. Abby with a super chat. For the second half, because it's become such a discussion point, Matt, are you a Coke or Pepsi person? The people want to know, apparently. All right, you guys ready? Here we go. This is going to cause a lot of mayhem. Are you ready? Hold on. Okay. Am I a Coke or Pepsi person? I'm neither. I'm both. They taste a little bit different to me, but they're both the same, basically. I could go for either. That's going to cause a lot of chaos. I can tell. I think it would have been better if I just picked one. I like both. Coke and Pepsi. They're both good. I have no preference. I'm sorry. Sorry to disappoint. It definitely is going to. I like all sodas except Tab and diet sodas, but Tab is a diet soda. RC Cola is fine. Remember when I drank those old Fagos on the stream? Oh my God, that was so long ago. That was like 2 years ago. Someone just reminded me in the chat. You're a Fago guy as of that one stream. Right, I forgot about that. I had these old Fagos in my house from when I saw... I went to see the Insane Clown Posse when they came to New York years and years and years and years ago. And they were handing out Fago, like full 2-liter bottles of Fago. JC Long, what happened to Fago, Matt? With a super chat. Oh, I'm explaining. Basically, I had these 2 really old Fago bottles full of soda that were unopened for years. And when I moved into the apartment I'm in now in 2020, I took them with me, but I couldn't keep them because I frankly should have thrown them out a long time ago. So I was like, all right, you know what? On the stream, I'm going to drink before you guys, live on the stream. I'm going to crack open this fine aged bottle of Fago. I think it was like 5 years old, untouched, unopened. Bottle of like diet Fago. And I drank it on stream. It was hard. It was difficult. I don't remember what. I don't know what to tell you if you want to look for it. Bo says Matt's a juggalo. Ha 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 ha. Well, I'm not a juggalo. I just wanted to see Insane Clown Posse. They're wrestling fans. Any wrestling fan has an affinity for Insane Clown Posse. They have their own wrestling promotion. Yeah, it was a really old bottle of Fago. It was actually more than 5 years, I think. I want to say 7. I think we saw them in 2013. So Fago, that's about a 7-year-old bottle of Fago. People having fun with me being a juggalo. You forgot about Juggalo champion shit wrestling, Bo? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it was very flat, Jeremy. Yes. Let's go back to the super chats. Nick Maurer with a $10 super chat. Just wanted to say I love your shows, and I'd like to say a leftist roundtable type show like David Doel mentioned would be great. Cooperation can only help the left. Absolutely. After that stream last week, we definitely need to do it. Absolutely. Sassy asks, what's older, the Fago or your children? At the time, the Fago was older. That Fago was from before I had kids. And my son was born in 2015. So, yeah. 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 Oh, boy. Let's see. No more calls for now, huh? Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Let's see. Oh, Josh, thank you for that was too kind. Upping your Patreon subscription. Appreciate that. Oh, another call coming in. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, they just accidentally hung up or got disconnected. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hi, Matt. It's Wanda.
Hi, Wanda. How are you?
From Maryland.
Yep.
So it's your Maryland night, I think.
Oh, there we go. Right. Yeah. Second caller from Maryland.
You had quite a few calls.
Yeah.
I nobody said it, but I just wanted to say we had a great election night in Maryland.
Yes.
We sort of, and you said it would happen. We sort of trounced the MAGA Republican governor candidate by a large margin. So that was good. But I'm still waiting for my county executive election. It's very close, and a MAGA Republican was leading in the morning. So we're still waiting on that. They're counting mail-in ballots, which is a good sign. So I think he's going to eke it out. But like your previous caller said, Maryland is not all blue. You know, you've got different areas, and we've got a few MAGA people in my county, so kind of dicey there.
Right.
But I did want to leave a message out there for Dave from Jamaica. Our governor-elect is of Jamaican heritage.
Oh, I
His
didn't know
name is
that.
Wes Moore, so Dave can look him up online. Very, very talented guy. And I also wanted to echo the last caller because I really like the segment with the other left-wing podcasters, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, that was really good, and that would be great to see more of that.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I think it was a big success doing that, and so we definitely got to do it again.
Yeah, that would be really great. I did want to say I'm pretty sure our exiting governor, Larry Hogan, is going to announce that he's going to run in 2024.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be fun because he couldn't even get his Republican candidate over the line in Maryland in the primary. Like his hand-picked gubernatorial candidate was trounced by the MAGA election denier candidate. So I'm going to love to see where that goes. Now, having said that, he wasn't bad as a governor. If you may remember, he was in the Governors Association leadership with Cuomo during COVID, and he did pretty good for Maryland during COVID.
Right.
I mean, we did not have our healthcare system crash under him. He took it seriously. He's a cancer survivor, so that part was good about him. But I don't see him going anywhere. But he is going to announce for sure.
It's going to be so fun. I know people listen. I know Trump is a horrible person and everything, but listen, it's like if you could like weaponize him against the entire party, I think it's. I mean, he's going to win, I think, no matter what. So he might as well take down all these future GOP stars down on his way to becoming the GOP candidate.
Oh yeah, it's going to be fun. Actually, I think. I mean, I certainly hope the Democrats take advantage of this. It's going to be a crap show on in that Republican Party. So I'm looking forward to it. But I'm sorry to hear about my home state, New York. It sounds like it was not a good night there, and I'm maybe not so surprised, but it's disappointing.
All right. You know, Eric Adams really is a drag on the party here. I can't believe he was heralded as the future for Dems. He's so disliked here, and he's so bad at his job. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he definitely was part of playing into the whole crime wave thing. Like, the guy literally is the mayor of New York City, and he's trying to play into the idea that crime is out of control here. Like, what are you doing, man? You're the guy in charge, and you're saying, yeah, crime is crazy here. Makes no sense.
Well, I mean, we could see where he was going, Eric Adams. I mean, he's a disaster. So I'm sorry that happened to New York, my hometown, but I don't think it's going to get any better. But I'm hoping. I'm going to ask you, those districts that flipped, would it be easy to flip them back in 2024?
I saw that. I think like 3 of them. I don't know how many of them there were, but I saw that like 3 of them are Dem-leaning districts that went for Biden in 2020. So I have to assume, yeah.
Okay, well, that's hopeful, at least, because it should be a big turnout in 2024, especially if Orange Man is on the ballot. I mean,
right.
It should be at least an opportunity, and they should be. Well, I don't know what the number is, but they should be vulnerable in the House in terms of voting, because they know they're in vulnerable districts. So maybe they won't be always voting with the Republicans. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be.
Yeah, I think there'll be some Republicans in states like California and New York that you might be able to pull off, like to just, you're not going to get them to vote for anything good, but maybe you could get them to vote against something bad. You know what I mean? They will have to watch out if they want to hold on to their seat in 2 years.
Right. That's what I was thinking, that, that would be some leverage maybe there. And I'm volunteering. I'm doing postcarding and phone banking for Georgia's runoff. So I really feel like there's a good chance that Warnock may pull it out. There may, I think he might. So that's hopeful. All in all, we had a good, showing, I think.
Right. I mean, you have to believe that it could go either way. The vote could be depressed in Georgia either way, with Dems holding on to the Senate no matter what, or Republicans losing the Senate no matter what. But I mean, Warnock's not a one of the senators you want to lose. Like, if it was some like horrible centrist Dem in, like, I don't know, like one of the random northern mountain states or whatever, I don't know, you could be like, but we don't want to lose Warnock. Like, if this was Kristen Sinema, I'd be like, who cares about her?
Right. Well, she's probably going to be primaried anyway in her state.
Yeah.
I hope. But I mean, overall, yeah, I don't know, from what I've just started with the phone banking, and you don't get a lot of answers anyway, when you call. But there is some, the few people I've talked to, there's some enthusiasm. So I'm hoping that people will come back out. And who knows, maybe Trump will even show up in Georgia and make it all even that much more of an incentive to get out the vote. I don't know, but he's probably going to make it, I think. I'm hoping anyway. But anyway, good show as always. Get some rest and close this show out early. You look tired.
Thank you. I'll try. Yeah, I think this might be the last call for the night. I'll read some
IMs.
We'll
Take care.
See. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, always a pleasure to talk with Wanda. What a great call. Always a pleasure to talk to all my callers. But there's some regulars who I always enjoy when they call in. I hope Dave from Jamaica heard that, by the way, about the new governor of Maryland. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a night. We've already been going for 2 hours. I am gonna call it a night, folks. I'm sorry. I know. But if I take a call now, I know we're gonna go on for another 10, 20, 30 minutes, and then before you know it, we're streaming for 3 hours. Daredevil with a super chat. Matt, if I bought you some 25-year-old Crystal Pepsi, would you drink it on screen? Yes, I would. I will do it. Send me the 25-year-old Crystal Pepsi, and I will do it. Reach out to me. It's got to be unopened, obviously. Spocko, I see you want to call in about Elon Musk, right? Can we save that for... We'll be talking a lot about Musk very soon. Can we save that for the next stream? It'll still be very relevant, I'm sure. Musk owning Twitter isn't going anywhere. Sai says, just let Spocko call in and take a nap while we listen. I could do that, honestly. Spocko's good on his own a lot of times. All right, over on Twitch. A lot of Twitch subscribers. Thank you. Tiny Panda 3 resubscribed to Prime subscriber for 6 months. Oh, we had a hype train going too? Jeez, thank you. Wow, I didn't even know. Vague Caddy subscribed with Prime. Valinova gave out 5 community gift subs. All right, you know what? I'll take this Spocko call. Hey, Spocko, how are you? Hello?
Hello.
Hey, Spocko, I was about to end the stream, but I saw you were calling in, so I didn't want to leave you hanging. Can we do 5 minutes?
Yes.
Perfect.
Hang on, let me make sure I get this muted here so you don't have a double call. Okay. The main thing I wanted to just say, and I will talk more about Musk, is I have a long piece up on Crooks and Liars. I'd like people to check out. And the big point that I want to check out, are you still there?
Yep.
Okay. The big point I want people to check out that I want to make is I wanted to give credit to the activist groups that got together and contacted the advertisers and said, this is an unsafe platform for your brand. It is brand unsafe, and he needs to fix this, or else you're going to they're going to stay away. And I included the comment from the guy who met from your group from the Center of Countering Digital Hate. And the big thing that I really want people to get is that we actually have some impact on Musk, and they did have a successful campaign convincing the advertisers it's unsafe. And now we just need to show him multiple other ways that he's making it unsafe for brands, which is also unsafe for human beings, until he brings back, certain kind of moderations, etc., versus just, oh, well, he'll just, forget it. I think this is a part of the successful activism that kind of gets ignored. It just didn't magically happen. I mean, Media Matters for America, Free Press, Color of Change all got together and did this. and it was effective. And so now what we're doing is we're showing the other brands that look what happened to Eli Lilly. Look what happened to these other companies. And it's not just because of some crazy imposters. Musk himself is causing the harm. You cannot trust him until he, does the right things. So that's the current campaign, and we extend it and show that it is also about the harm to people. And there's going to be consequences if he doesn't do that too. So, and I used a clip from the Colbert Show last night where Ed Markey points out to Musk that, hey, your car company is under investigation for killing people. You're under an FTC investigation for privacy violations. And this again is showing that government has a role to play when people are harmed. It's not just, hey, he could make money and he can harm people. No, even if he makes money, there should be, protection from harm. So this is the campaign to focus on. We've already got some great names and people doing it, and I just don't want people to ignore it. That didn't just happen. We all got together and did that. So that's the piece that I wanted to do. And I know it's fun to watch, and I, joke as much as the other people about it, but I want to use that, harm that is massive. I mean, we only care about the money, the billions of dollars lost. But again, this is, I think, Trans Awareness Week, and Musk retweeted something from Libs of TikTok. So that's the other thing is like he himself, by not following, Twitter's rules, he's as we say in the financial industry, he's a the phrase, a material event. He's like, when you say something that moves the stock price, that's a material event. He is a disaster generator for these companies' stocks, and the advertisers should stay away from it until he fixes it. And that should mean good things for people as well. So that's the main thing that I wanted to point out, and to not just, sit in the back of a taxi, like watching it as a car crash, like at a movie screen. We can actually direct him to crash where we like, unless he fixes it where we want.
Yeah, that's perfect, Spacco. Absolutely. I mean, the issue right now is his version of Twitter Blue, the paid verification stuff. That's gonna easily be the problem. It's gonna cause so many problems with scams and fake news and misinformation and all sorts of impersonation, harassment. It's gonna be horrible. But
right.
that's where he's drawing his line as of right now. He's gung ho about that. Advertisers got to stay away. That's really what's gonna be the tell, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and Sam Cedar mentioned this today too. He was explaining about, well, here's how advertisers work, because people say, well, what can I, do? It's like, well, one of the things I says, join these groups because they know how to contact the advertisers and say, hey, this is bad for you. This is not good for your brand. And I used in my article my history of, how I did it back in 2007 with Right Wing Radio. And also, like, I didn't say it in there, but I've said before to you, I media trained him. I've worked with these, multi-billionaires and millionaires. They're very arrogant, and they think, oh, I'll just screw up and, do this and do that. And I've got a run rate of X number of months so I can screw up for that. Musk has a financial, group of people like coming after them. Hey, pay me, So I want to use that desire for revenue generation from his bankers that he owes $12 billion to say, hey, you need to start generating revenue. And to create revenue, he either has to make it safe for advertisers, or, his idea was Twitter Blue, or just like do that. That in and of itself is actually a problem because he hasn't, figured out how to do it. He hasn't got the impersonation problem fixed. So I want to use the current pressures, the financial pressures that he has, unless he becomes like Murdoch and goes, I can lose money on this thing for this long time because I want the power. And that might be, one of his, does he want the power of being able to have the final word on everything and to be, the troll in chief? Well, it's great until all the advertisers go, hey, you're the one who let this crap slip through. You're the one that cost us 4.37 drop at our stock and millions of dollars. Cut it out. We're not gonna deal with this. The people get threatened and injured and harmed over Twitter. They don't care. People don't care about them as much, but those corporations, when they see this shit going down, they're the ones who make the phone calls and say, fix it, knock it off, or we're going to act. So that's the thing that I want to do, and not just to, he'll hopefully make money eventually. That's not the point. The point is, if he does make it brand safe and he makes more money, it needs to be because he fixes some of the issues about harm. And Amram, the guy who's the CEO of the Center for Countering Digital Hate, in his framework, he talks specifically that governments have a role to play because we've seen before these companies can't self-regulate and they make money if they continue to figure out a way to profit from hate or violence. And that can't be the only metric. We've got to say there is a financial harm that's going to come at you. And that's why I was so glad that Ed Markey came out and pointed out that there's other financial harms that the government can provide if you don't make your platform safe. Facebook has figured it out. They've figured out a way to avoid liability. Musk is in a bad spot right now. And I believe it's time to pile on to force not only him, but other social media companies to actually deal with the harm that they're causing, not only through their, inability to failure to moderate content, but also when they do actually make changes in their products that cause harm, like his Twitter Blue.
Right. I mean, spot on as usual, Spacco. What is it? Where can people go to that website for that organization?
Crooks and Liars is that's where and I list in there the different organizations that. Oh,
good. So what's the Crooks and Liars link then? Because that's even better. If there's a list of links.
The Crooks and Liars. The title is it's crooksandliars.com, and my title is Musk's blunders are hilarious and harmful. That's how I wrote it, because I wanted to be funny at the same time. And speaking of something that you said earlier, you were fascinating, and really, Ben, were fascinating those on the right-wing streams. I mean, it's a long time since I listened to right-wing talking points, and really appreciated the way that Ben knocked down some of their premises, and then you were just like going, yeah, well, whatever, and and you didn't get sucked in. It was interesting to watch, and I no longer play them of how to win with an argument with them. I go over their head and make it so that they lose money or lose their job or something like that, because it's insidious how they work and how they pull out these bizarre concepts. I mean, I was just like, it was great that Ben just stopped them. And at one point, it's like, no, what you're saying is, and he wasn't like horrible, but one of them, I forgot which one it was like, oh, okay. After he had nailed him. And, I was like you said, they seemed a little bit nicer than I thought they were going to be, and then Ben left, and that was it. But I was really, it was great to see that, and mostly because I like to see the thinking behind how to destroy these people, because most people they don't want to spend the time doing it, and they don't like doing it. Like, maybe Sam or Ben do.
Right. Right. Yeah, I had a lot of fun doing it, and I'm glad it seemed like a lot of people who did watch it enjoyed. The problem is, got to get people to watch it, because people really don't want to. Some people. Thanks for the call, Spacco. Always a pleasure.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye.
All right, I think that's it. Let me make sure. Don't want to miss. Oh, a few more super chats. Fade Day with a super chat. Dr. Gus here. Great show. I'm calling in next time with inside info on Stacey Abrams' campaign imploding. Get some sleep, Matt. Thank you. Maria Surratt with a super chat. Jewish mother here. Go get a bag of frozen veggies wrapped in a towel and put it on the back of your neck. Great to head off a migraine. Ooh, that does sound like a good idea. Thank you so much. I think I might do that. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to go over to finish with Twitch. Valanova. Oh, by the way, who should I rate on Twitch? Valanova, 5 community gift subs. Thank you. Daredevil resubscriber Prime, 6-month subscriber. Thank you so much. Super Saiyan 3 Doors Down subscriber Prime. Thank you. Mr. Blake B, subscribe for 1 month at tier 1. Thank you. Lingle Sue, subscriber Prime. Awesome. Strider 504, subscriber Prime. Thank you. Tokyo Hans, resubscriber Prime, subscriber for 6 months. Brace Haver, subscriber Prime. Thank you so much over on Twitch. And as always, twitch.tv/MattBinder. Use your Amazon Prime subscription to give me a Twitch Prime subscription. No cost to you. Who am I rating on Twitch? Let's see. Who's on right now? Who's someone new? Let's see. I'm trying to see who's on right now. I could do Amy EC3, send people her way. I sent them last time. She's getting me another list of FTX things that I Oh, 2 people for I'm Really Important, and that's someone new. Oh, they're a really big streamer. They got a lot of people watching. Who are they? Who's I'm Really Important on Twitch? Who are they? How do you describe I'm Really Important? All right. Oh, there's someone new. Open up the stream a bit. New people. I'll send people his way. Sounds good. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. As always, check out Scam Economy. Leave reviews on Apple Podcasts, please, if you can. It takes 2 seconds. Just open up your Apple Podcasts app. Hit the stars. Tap the stars on Scam Economy. That's simple. Just a click. All right. I will see you all next time on Doomed.